We have already introduced the Aura Zo 7 to you quite exclusively during the driving event on our first test drive, highlighting its performance and features. Your comments were mixed. Some loved the design for being different from our usual cars, while others found it too unconventional and didn't appreciate its unique aesthetics. And the others, well, they mentioned that maybe the design isn't really for me. I can understand because the car is a bit polarizing, it stands out, it also ensures that you are seen. We have already been able to notice this very intensively in the first few days with the Aura Zo 7. People turn their heads, they're happy, and they see, well, this is finally a different vehicle in the streetscape which really stands out. Today we want to intensify the impressions with you. That means we want to go into the details of why I think that the Aura Zo 7 might be extremely interesting for you. Because it starts for us in the pure version with a small battery already from 41,990 euros, but overall with the equipment, I think it has a lot to offer. We've got it once again in the top version known as the GT, then with 300 kW, 408 horsepower in the top variant mode. But we can break it down very nicely here. As a GT, it starts at a good 53,490 euros, so the transitions are quite smooth. And when we compare it, even with our favorite American car manufacturer, they offer a lot as standard, which really makes you wonder whether you lean more towards the American side or perhaps even a bit more towards the Chinese one, don't you think? Yeah, it really gives you something to think about.
It's possible.
And as always, we start from the outside, start from the front, have it here in such a beautiful medium gray, dark gray, metallic, and from the front it looks somewhat, I would almost say, like a Porsche, Panamera. Feel free to leave a comment below on how you see the exterior design. Some even compare it a bit with a Bentley. In any case, the Aura symbol, this exclamation mark, has been very charmingly integrated here at the front. You see that the entire car is quite flat and fairly low to the ground, which of course makes it look extraordinarily sporty and very high performance from the outside. The front is fully closed since it's a purely electric vehicle. And here in the lights, we see these crystal-like segments, also known from a Bentley vehicle, adding a touch of elegance and refinement to the overall design, which truly stands out. We have here LED headlights that also have the ability to automatically switch between high and low beams. Yes, otherwise we have a mix of this medium grey, dark grey in combination with very beautiful 19-inch rims. Let's try a different design, aerodynamically optimized. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. It should be like various exclamation points where the 5-hole mounting points might be the dot of the exclamation point. I'd interpret it that way. Stefan, thoughts?
For me, they are kind of oval. Well,
okay, something different for everyone indeed. Yes, we have 235/45 R19 tires. With the GT, the bright red brake calipers also really stand out quite significantly. That's nice, and we always have quite a lot of chrome. Chrome, especially in the Asian market, signifies a certain level of value. A Bentley, similar to a Maybach, showcases a considerable amount of chrome, which conveys a distinct sense of luxury, value, and undeniable prestige. Up here, it's nice around the window frame. I might have liked a glossy black version instead, as some might prefer a sportier look, adding a touch of sleek sophistication and elegance to the design. Maybe also consider dark rims as an alternative, but at the moment there are at least only 3 colors. On is the Snow White, which I believe to be a white metallic serving as a base in all variants, and then optionally for the Pro model, which starts at approximately 44,000 euros. Then also this grey metallic and a purple. We've shown you the purple as well as the lilac during our previous presentation. Additionally on board here with the GT is of course the Commotion.
I have a nice fries counter.
He basically extends it when you start him. It's probably set up that way, I don't know. In any case, that's how our subject always does it. And when you sort of shut him off, then she retracts. But when I open it again now, you can see then it comes right out. Yes, it's quite lush, so you might actually be able to during the loading pause here, because it's also built really sturdy. Maybe you could have a small picnic or take a nice short break.
You can nicely place your sandwiches on it.
Also nice and horizontal. I believe it is also adjustable, so you should try to create a bit more downforce for faster rides. Whether that's really necessary, that's for people who know more about it than the two of us to decide. Yes, the taillight is also chrome framed again. It is very, very nicely done indeed. Then here with this turbine look, or whatever you actually want to call it for real. Yeah, overall the car is really quite striking, undeniably unique and remarkable. It has this coupe-like sloping roofline, and I think it also looks pretty aerodynamic in its overall design and appearance.
Yes, I totally agree with you.
And what is also very, very nicely done, in my opinion, are these electrically opening door handles, which are relatively easy to use. That sounds reasonable. What we obviously can't expect is some sort of soft close in this price range. But that's often not even available in many more luxurious and premium vehicles, such as those we see today, for example. In the list of additional options, yes, I think the design is polarizing. Please write your opinion in the comments. Do you like the design, don't you? My dad always said, when you're sitting in the car, you can't see what it looks like outside. 4.87 meters long, 1.86 meters wide, plus side mirrors. That could just about fit in the construction zone on the left lane at 2.10 meters. In height, it's 1.5 meters, but it somehow appears a bit flatter. I could really imagine it being even lower than it is, especially when I think about the noticeable gaps in the wheel arches right here. But it is ultimately relatively flat in design, so you do indeed have to be a little careful with uneven ground or those traffic calming measures to ensure that you don't accidentally make contact with the bump. Yes, on board we have two battery sizes, cleverly hidden in the 2.87 meters for efficient space use and balanced weight distribution. Wheelbase for one, 67 kilowatt hours gross battery, then in the Pure and Pro variant for the entry-level price. And with the GT, we then have 86 kilowatt hours gross and 82.5 kilowatt hours net. So with the GT, hopefully, we'll find out during the consumption test, the charging check, and on the road trip that it comes to a good travel performance, right?
We'll find out about that, yeah.
And that's just the dilemma. At first I thought, man, why don't they only release the big battery? Most don't need a big battery, correct? Correct.
So the commuters who are driving their 50 kilometers a day.
And in the end, we always carry some extra weight. Yes, on the passenger side, we have the charging port, making recharging easy and convenient for everyday use. On the one hand, for AC alternating current type 2, 3-phase with up to 11 kilowatts at 16 amperes, and then of course we also have a DC charging port that is supposed to bring 88 kilowatts at peak, which might be a bit too slow for some people.
Yeah,
I was also a bit surprised because we could probably go from 10 to 80% in about a good 40 minutes in the end. That would be something already
currently hard above average.
The charge check then reveals, but many of you rightly say, well, if I then go on a big trip once a year or even twice a year, then I like to take my time, and then maybe it doesn't really matter to me whether I charge for 30 minutes or 40 minutes, or maybe like those high performance chargers, then like the Kia EV6, Hyundai Ioniq 5, which can even manage it in 18 or 20 minutes. I would love to read your opinions in the comments. Then you are more like the types who are into fast charging, or the types who think 30 minutes is the limit, or maybe who just don't care at all. I have the time anyway and simply enjoy driving electrically. And as always, we take a look under the hood with you, which is secured here by a little knob. And unfortunately, we see that it sadly does not have a front trunk at all. Well then,
one might think there's actually something below.
Yes, I think it's a shame. We can't look under here. There will probably be the usual stuff, such as the advanced climate control technology we have here at Battery. We'll probably be hiding the 12-volt battery underneath. It's actually quite well done that you have easy access here. We've got windshield washer fluid here and probably brake fluid or coolant. It's very convenient for regular car maintenance tasks. And then here, for example, we have a remote emergency release again. And then also for the charging port, I heard that sometimes it might be necessary in practice for some vehicles. We have actually always been quite lucky that everything usually worked out very well in the end. Everything is well insulated because we have two electric motors on board, one on the front axle and the other on the rear axle, each providing 150 kilolov and 408 HP for smooth and efficient performance. And of course a good 600 Newton meters of torque, which should accelerate it from 0 to 100 in 4.5 seconds. We will try that together. And at its peak, it's supposed to reach 180. And I could imagine that we might top it off a bit with a consumption drive, right?
Yes, definitely.
Now let's first listen to how it sounds nicely with hood fans, well insulated, exemplary, right? Yes, very good. So Aura offers something for the money, doesn't it?
3, 2, 1, let's get going now.
680 Newton meters of torque to be precise, and if you take the two base variants, the Pure and the Pro, with the 67 kilowatt hour battery, you get a front motor with 150 kilov, 204 horsepower and 340 Newton meters. It is supposed to accelerate from 0 to 100 in 8.2 seconds and have a top speed of 170 kilometers per hour. Just to add, yes, an important point is, I believe there is an update for the electric hex boiler in the Pro variant, which is a design feature, and additionally, you also have the option to open the trunk electrically. We have the classic sedan notchback. I would have preferred it to have a large hatch so that you can load the trunk with its 333 liters appropriately. As you can see, the Type 2 cable is already in place in such a nice bag with the first aid kit on the left, and all of this slightly restricts the 333 liters of storage space. We then have the possibility to store the Schuko emergency set here in the loading floor, ensuring it is easily accessible and well organized when needed. There's also a tire repair kit here in case you ever get a flat tire. Everything included is well made and quite durable. Look, Stefan, this is a lovely flowery carpet, and a mat like this one right here is included in the package deal. Then we've installed such a nice felt carpet here. Everything is lined, and I have to say I really like the quality. The only downside might be the high bumper here. For some, it can be a deciding factor, especially when lifting in drink crates, particularly for the ladies. It's just plastic, and you can see our test vehicle has, I believe, around 2,500 kilometers on it, and there are already the first scratches and things like that just because of this. We recommend the manufacturer to sometimes consider using brushed anodized aluminum because it is a bit more maintenance friendly. Once again, everything up here is nicely covered with this carpet felt, which is very, very high quality, and you have the option to increase the 333 liters of storage volume even more substantially by, for example, folding down the seats here as well, both on the driver's side, then the 60% section, as well as on the passenger side, the remaining 40%, so that we end up with 1,045 liters total volume, which unfortunately has a small step. But it would still be enough for a somewhat larger object. I would have wished that maybe in the 60% of the driver's side, another 20% could be sectioned off for a through loading option. Or maybe the center armrest could have a small compartment for organizing items more effectively, adding extra functionality and convenience. Or can we even split this up here, Stefan? And I've overlooked it again. I need to climb in here for a moment. I made a slight mistake because you can apparently subdivide the entire thing once again into smaller, distinct sections. This is somehow truly challenging and quite tough to manage, I must admit. Now I finally did it, Mr. Gazzacramento Crucifiximitanat. Now I'm a bit out of breath too. See, it works, Aura. 20% in the middle for the skis, for the long item. That is truly exemplary. I am genuinely thrilled. I truly apologize for missing that part right at the very beginning. That's a really great and quite inspiring story. Being able to use the car efficiently and effectively in everyday life is really quite remarkable. Yes, what's going on electrically, Stefan?
Is it electric powered?
That's exactly how you should think, and that's how it works in practice. Nice and smooth operation, maybe a bit slow for some, but very classy and elegant with the soft close feature on the tailgate. I find it quite classy. By the way, I haven't found the roof load. Feel free to write it in the comments if you know more. We found nothing. There's nothing in the manufacturer's data sheet. And what I also missed is maybe an optional trailer hitch.
would have been nice.
I've heard rumors that something might be coming, all hypothetical, but I haven't received any definitive information yet. And that's why feel free to write in the comments if you know more about it. We can't officially say anything about it yet. We've shown you everything on the outside. Let's step inside. We have installed here standard double glazing with a thick outer pane, a film, and then a thin inner pane. So we want to measure the interior noise with you to see how well the car is insulated. Yes, I have to say the cabin is really, I don't want to spoil anything, but truly top notch. Up here we have this faux leather with a stitch and this kind of padding that looks very, very chic. It's a chocolate brown cocoa color. Then we have here basically a plastic strip, looks like aluminum, elixir, it could even be that. Here we integrated an ambient lighting, and here as well a very, very premium massive door handle. Here everything is again in this tobacco color, cognac colored, really more like a Hermes orange. Yes.
A little bit.
Covered with faux leather once again, and here too you can find the most important openings for the windows, the critical mirror adjustment and the central filling. Here's a plastic strip and it looks very high quality indeed. And even down here where there's hard plastic, it still looks much higher quality overall because it's colored. Yes.
Yeah.
Infinity sound system, let's see what it can do. We can fit a large water bottle here, handy for long trips or drives. But what I'm missing here is some carpet or at least some felt. Ora, maybe you should reconsider incorporating it to prevent any rustling or rattling in the door storage area, particularly on rough roads or during long trips. Welcome to the interior. You can see how the tobacco color beautifully reflects with the chocolate brown, creating a warm and inviting atmosphere that's both elegant and visually appealing. But let's proceed chronologically. We've got a proper head-up display that shows us the essential information through the windshield. Projected. This is very, very helpful in everyday life and reduces distractions. We have a large display here which is basically divided again by this curvature. Feel free to write in the comments if you like it or if you would perhaps prefer a continuous display instead. Visually, it's definitely quite nice.
Very chic.
But it also makes it a bit fragmented. We've gotten used to these simple big displays.
Look left and right.
Exactly. Yes, the steering wheel also comes in that beautiful cognac color, along with this high-quality plastic on the center button. We have these tactile buttons that we can actually go ahead and move with ease, plus of course these very, very nice paddles. And in the GT version we always have the sport button where we can instantly tap into the 680 Newton meters and the 408 horsepower. And of course we've got a bit of that classic racing feel here with the checkered flag. Nice three-spoke steering wheel, feels very, very high quality and robust. In the center, we have the infotainment display with a 21:9 aspect ratio and Aura software, which I think is quite average, to be honest. Honestly, you have to admit that there is indeed a lot of room for improvement here, but please give Aura a fair chance because we've given that same opportunity to all other manufacturers as well, allowing them to improve through over-the-air software updates. What I absolutely find brilliant is that we can use both wired and wireless options, giving us a lot of flexibility. Then Apple CarPlay and Android Auto integrated, which is always important for me. If the software isn't perfect, since which manufacturer can truly claim to have perfect software? I don't even think Tesla can. I'm sure there's one or two particular things we could discuss there as well. Then you can always mirror your smartphone to use your system like we absolutely love to navigate with Google Maps. Indeed, we can't adjust the air vents, but we definitely have various different setting options to choose from for a better experience. The climate menu, swiping left and right, is very pleasant and intuitive to use, making it easy to adjust settings. When we have hot outside temperatures, because we always get such a nice breeze, I have to say it's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah, that's awesome. And we also have not just the seat heating in 3 levels for the GT here, but also the seat ventilation in 3 levels. And what I can also tell you is that we even have a massage function. What do you think about that, Stefan?
Definitely. Also for the passenger?
Yes, of course. We have the driver here. I'll get to him right away. Such a nice snake line massage, totally awesome. And of course, I'll turn it on for you as well. And you can also adjust the snake line in 3 different levels. I have to say, Aura really offers quite a lot.
Yeah, space.
And that's all pretty smooth here in the infotainment. So from that perspective, Not all translations are always 100% perfect, but you can work with it. And you see this here, this is a decent level, so that's pretty neat, right? What do you say?
That is definitely good, yes, sufficient.
But why are we here near Strasbourg? We are actually in, who knows,
Were you just wiped?
this is the car here, and so somehow the GPS hasn't figured out yet that we're somehow no longer in Strasbourg or what. Here's Paris, that's amazing. We'd better get out of here quickly. Or probably he just doesn't have any internet or GPS signal right now. I don't know, though it shows 4G there. Well, whatever. Let's stay chronological. What I really like is the chocolate brown color here once again, and then there's this beautiful golden plastic line. I wonder why it's not silver, like the doors. We should also ask why they made it golden here. Then we have nice faux leather here, again stitched together. This is also all soft, it feels premium. We have a plastic trim here, but it looks like brushed aluminum. Here we also have the ambient light included. We have here the on and off switch, hazard lights, air conditioning, windows and ventilation, front window heater, rear window heater. That means there are also small heating wires in the windshield. This is quite interesting for all those who might not have a garage to quickly defrost the car in winter. And we have such nice controls here where we can manually adjust the ventilation, regulate the temperature and have the auto function. Here we also have the mode switch, conveniently allowing us to easily move from eco to comfort whenever we need. We can then simply switch back to normal mode. Additionally, we can transition over to sport mode and we can even switch to the customizable mode whenever desired. This means you genuinely have all the functions plus the sport plus button available right here. Where he can consistently deliver his best performance, I think those are adjustable options specifically tailored to meet various needs and preferences. There's also well-being. I don't even know what well-being is. Probably everything the most comfortable to feeling good. You see, the Aura offers so many settings that I don't even know what all this nice stuff is. Cup holders we have easily. That is a bit sad. Where does your coffee cup go then?
In the hand, probably.
Okay, yes, we have an inductive charging pad here, but it gets a bit tight with larger smartphones because mine, well, just about fits in. The max version. So therefore, if the phones keep getting bigger, it will get tighter here. Yes, small storage compartment here. Opens both ways because that's practical if I'm driving and Stefan quickly needs something from the center armrest. Wants to remove, but please check again how it looks when everything is covered with the dark brown chocolate colored headliner all around. That's just love for detail. Here you see a beautiful large illuminated vanity mirror enhancing the aesthetic appeal. I think that will highly please the ladies and I believe the gentlemen who put a lot of value on it. And of course we also have the Top Gun section here.
Nee, nicht, dass die zurückknallen. Nee.
Glass roof, unfortunately not openable. Then here a center strut, which we already know from the Tesla Model 3, but at least here there are integrated light elements. So a reading light for the rear. And what we also have, you like this so much because I'm always so efficient, here are senior citizen grab handles, or as I always say,
Rod?
but look, also nicely cushioned, not just hard snaps. And what is also a highlight, I think, are the tobacco-colored straps, right? Well, that's really attention to detail. I mean, everyone who always criticizes, yes, you can be constructively critical, and I also think you can have a different opinion and taste. That's perfectly fine. However, what Aura offers us here, starting from 41,990 euros. It's most definitely worth at least a heartfelt tribute, isn't it?
Absolutely. But you're actually confirming what you started with the Euro 3 model. The inside was just as stylish as the outside. Truly, it was a top-of-the-line setup. And they are included even with the smallest version.
And including an electric tailgate. How often have we missed that in the compact and small car class? This wavy line massage is really good. Yeah. And it also kind of conceals a bit. You see here that I can't move my seat any further back. We'll see that again in the back seat because otherwise she always sits all the way back, all the way down, and there's no space behind me. Here, I would just wish Aura that you extend the seat rail a bit more,
Und
5
ich
to
glaube,
10
das ist auch
centimeters, because there is enough space available so that tall people like me, with my 1 meter 85 long limbs, 99.9 kilograms, can find more space. Yes, we have electric seat adjustments on both the driver and passenger sides. But that makes me wonder, why doesn't the passenger side have the same features? Yeah, why is there generally no seat height adjustment on the passenger side in Asia?
Well, and to be honest, he can't be expanded backwards either.
There is no lumbar support on the passenger side.
Right? No.
No, is the passenger maybe worth less than the driver, even though there are many in Asia who get driven around, right? Yes, yes. Otherwise, let's stay chronological. We've got a nice open compartment here where my little man bag would fit if Stefan would remember it again. Maybe a small lady's bag, 2 USB-A ports and a 12-volt socket. You might criticize that it's not USB-C now, but for years we got along just fine with USB-A. Here we have the hook to attach the larger handbag, ensuring that when I perform with 86 Newton meters of force, it doesn't fly all over the place. And here we have hard plastic, but again, nice inside with the tobacco brown, a high quality felt. So I have to say, this is really amazingly well done. Just take a look at the texture of the doormat, it's also absolutely brilliant. Entry is hard plastic, fair to say, but in which car is that different nowadays? Most modern vehicles use hard plastics in such areas. Those are few. And then we have a sporty seat here. It has good lumbar support and moderate thigh support, which should suffice for most drivers' comfort needs. He might even have a bit more with 408 horsepower. We have light shoulder pads, integrated headrest, and then also here, the pass-through compartment for the people who might have it a bit tougher in the back to come forward. Or maybe the short belts. Yeah, short belts, although that might be a bit over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, where I can point out Aura again for a bit is that here the headliner ends and then there's a section of hard plastic which feels a bit cheap and less premium, which tends to cause annoying rattling noises when you drive alone over uneven cobblestones, especially at higher speeds. Feel free to leave a comment if you occasionally hear some rattling too. The zigzag was pretty cool, right? Yeah, oh my god. Let's see if I can smoothly get into the Aura 7 GT with my 6 feet 1 inch and my rickety 220 pounds. It might be quite the challenge, but I'm ready to try and see how well I can manage. And I'm doing quite well with that initially. Back here in the rear, I'm actually sitting quite comfortably, even though the back seat could perhaps be a little higher. I have kind of the feeling that the depth we're used to from the combustion engine is missing here due to the battery pack. So I can just about, Stefan, can you show this a bit clearer? I can just about slide my shoes under the front passenger seat, which is adjusted to the B pillar, but I still have a fist of space here and everything is well finished because the faux leather here goes all the way down to my shoes, I have to say. So chic, eh?
Looks absolutely great.
Now that's what I call craftsmanship. It's solid. We also have a compartment here where we can stash something. We have a foldable center armrest complete with 2 cup holders. With my sitting size, it's just at the limit where I end up sitting in my elbow, which can be especially uncomfortable on longer trips. And that of course makes it a bit less useful. I would have preferred if the whole part could fold down, including the headrest, and thereby a slightly extended center armrest. What we definitely have are 2 turbine-like air vents, which look super chic, and also USB-C can be seen at least in the rear. Look here, there's a USB for the Enterprise. Why there's not 2 USB ports or only USB-C, nobody knows. Or anyway, there's another small compartment down there. What we don't have here is an adjustable 3-zone climate control in the back. I mean, in the climate menu you can differentiate between the front and the back, but I'm not quite sure about it now. Let's check the driving report again. Yes, we have ISOFIX mounts nicely hidden under a flap, integrated on both the driver's and passenger's sides. That means 2 child seats would fit nicely there. Yeah, and where as I mentioned, have to give some constructive criticism due to my height is with the adjustment of the driver's seat, because there's space here, right?
Yeah, so I can sit comfortably in the back here too, yeah.
So, and actually I might need the space in the front footwell for comfort. So if you're really tall, definitely check if you have enough room here by doing a proper seat test, just to be absolutely sure that you can sit comfortably as well. Here's hard plastic once more back here. with the usual risk of rattling. Otherwise, everything else is typically finished. What I like is that the rear door trim matches the front, offering a cohesive and harmonious interior look. A large drink bottle fits in there again. There's a storage option, infinity sound system. I have to say, I really like it. The only thing that might bother me here in the back, if I can say this constructively, is when I want to see the starry sky. I'd have to look straight up here because there's this noticeable bump right in the middle. Somehow, I don't think it's perfectly executed in either the Model 3 or the Aura 07, because while it's nice, there's a large glass roof, but it heats up quite a bit because of the sun, which makes it rather uncomfortable inside. I can already feel my head getting fairly warm from the sun's rays. Well, I'm probably missing an additional sunshade here, some extra sun protection. I think in the peak of summer, over 30 degrees and constant sun on the roof, this could get pretty hot here. What are you doing? I think the spoiler could have been a bit wider. Yeah.
That's nicely flared, like the GTI model.
Outside, we've shown you everything. Inside, we've shown you everything. Now let's finally get those 300 kilowatt moving swiftly. Let's get to the driving report. Come on, hop in. 4.87 meters. We need to talk about the turning circle. That's only 11.5 meters. That means without rear wheel steering, Aura managed it with substantial front wheel steering to create a full circle in 11,5 meters. That's really impressive, isn't it?
That's good, yeah.
So he really sets good standards there. I had promised you we would check the air conditioning menu once more. I was reading the back, but in the back you can only adjust the seat heating on the driver and passenger sides in 3 levels, but you cannot adjust the temperatures in the rear. I find that a bit unfortunate. So we have 2 zones that basically divide front and rear, and we want to see 1150 was the turning circle. That's already good. How well you can park with 4 meters 87 Euro 7 GT, and for that we get here what I think is really damn good support in the form of a 360-degree camera, where the guidelines also seem very precise, offering a good resolution, and where we also have a clear and detailed overview of the rims, making it easier to avoid scratches on the curb, maintaining your vehicle's condition and appearance over time. You can easily switch to 3D here anytime you want. This advanced technology allows you to view both the front and rear of the vehicle, making navigation and parking significantly easier and more convenient. You basically have, so to speak, the recorded view through the hood, theoretically even what some off-road vehicles offer. You, of course, have the intelligent parking assistant, where the car would even park itself for you, removing all the stress of parking and ensuring a smooth experience. That's obviously very helpful, manual parking. But I think you guys have some really awesome and efficient support systems here, which you can activate whenever you need them. So therefore, I believe it's a very advanced system. Yeah, what's brilliant is being able to do a 180-degree turn to get out of a tight driveway, making it easier to maneuver in restricted spaces and improving overall driving convenience. Pedestrians, children and cyclists to watch out for, and I have to say, you're really doing it properly.
That's really great. Everything's right here.
We're about to thoroughly test the comfort on the cobblestones. Absolutely nothing rustles and nothing rattles at all. So from that perspective, I think it's right.
Finished and comfortable.
Now we've got this big fat pothole. Let's slide right through it. Yes, that's okay. Horror at its best, that feels quite good, I have to say. So that's almost a solid 9 out of 10, am I right?
Yes, that works.
On board the Aurora, we have an electronic turn signal lever. It's electronic in the sense that there is no detent mechanism. I'm a big fan of the classic detent mechanism. When you reach a certain steering angle, it then disengages. Because we've already driven on some roads with the blinker on for quite a while, then we tried to turn it off manually. Well, anyway, what's brilliant about the Aurora 07 GT is the voice command. Let's give it a try.
Cool.
You can also choose the name yourself. It's preset here. Hey Charlie, drive us to Munich to the Victualian Markt.
I have Victualian Markt 831 located right in the city of Munich in Germany.
Would you like to go there? Yes, let's go ahead and start the navigation. Start. For some reason, the tracking was disabled, so we ended up aiming for the area near Strasbourg. I enabled the location services, and now it appropriately shows all the places here. And you can clearly see that he's also doing the appropriate load planning, Stefan, right? What do you think about that? That really sounds like an absolutely brilliant story. Especially considering that we have 2 convenient charging points on our way to the Viktualienmarkt. Yes, we're back on our wonderful serpentining track. Let's see how the ORA 07 GT rushes through the curves here. And he does that gently, comfortably, but firmly. This gives us a good spread in the chassis, letting us stay both firm and comfortable, ensuring a balanced and controlled drive even on challenging roads. That's on a European level, I believe, showing in its performance and handling of curves, offering a refined drive. You can clearly see this here with the left-right turn, similar to the one in Suzuka, also gliding smoothly through with the 2.2 tons here. He's doing well, right?
He does it really well. It holds, doesn't wobble or tip.
The seats also provide adequate lateral support. That's important, especially when you're taking corners a bit more briskly. Well, that would definitely justify maybe another Großglockner High Alpine Tour given the breathtaking scenery.
That could be a lot of fun, yeah?
We really want to intensify the driving impressions with you quite a bit and maybe drive on a road that has several bumps and then also take a few pretty sharp turns along the way to make it more exciting, to intensify that again. And then, of course, we also have plenty of power here with 300 kilowatt, 408 PS, which are immediately available and offer a corresponding punch. So even on winding country roads, I genuinely think you can really have loads of fun driving with the ORA 07 GT. What Stefan particularly likes is when I go ahead and activate the draggy gadget, right?
All right, let's go.
That means we want to reset it properly to ensure everything is correct. Let's press the Sport Plus button here to activate the Sport Plus mode. I have also turned off the ESC and ESP so that the launch control is activated. We're ready for launch, Stefan.
We are officially blasting off right now, Stefan.
And it pushes 300 kilowatts forward. That's 30, 50, 60, 90, 100. And we're doing the brake test. Could he perhaps grip just a bit tighter? He actually did a really good job though, I must say. But at the start he could push a bit more. 0 to 100, 4.92 seconds. 0 to 60, 2.34. 0 to 50 in 1.9 seconds. We'll try the launch one more time to give me the chance to maybe reach the factory's 4.5 seconds specification. We have a winding road ahead and naturally we want to drive the ORA 07 briskly to fully experience its impressive handling and overall performance on this route. And yes, you can tell that the taut yet comfortable suspension doesn't really oscillate much, even when I'm making a few swaying motions here. We always have a almost completely unused stretch of road as a test track, where within the framework of the road traffic regulations, we can naturally also drive at 100 kilometers per hour with you, of course. I have to say he does it well because on one side he has the comfort where he absorbs nicely, but at the necessary points he's also firm, isn't he?
Yes, definitely. He takes the turn well, has good traction. He really does that well.
How's your butt meter, Stefan?
Wow, I'm sitting here comfortably. I've got good support, yeah. Despite the curves.
All good things come in pairs. We'll reset the draggy device and then press the Sport Plus button to get started.
3, 2, 1, and here we go, starting now.
Launch control is activated and then he really takes off. 30, 50, 80, 100 kilometers per hour. And now we do the brake test for a second time and push it all the way down really hard. And the brake bites, but I think it could be just a bit stronger, right, Stefan? But I believe
that should already be enough.
0 to 100 kilometers per hour, 4.9 seconds. 0 to 60, 2.43. 0 to 50, 1.98 seconds. That means probably on this asphalt combined with the Michelin Sport tires that are on here, it's likely not possible anymore at this point. But I have to say those are definitely respectable figures. We'll obviously turn the ESC back on, and in Sport Plus mode you also have the option to toggle the sound on and off. We have now created the race car sound especially for you, just to offer a bit more variety. Actually, we are more like friends who don't really enjoy any kind of sound that much, right?
Nah, I don't think we need that sound composer.
But since we're already in Sport Plus, we can accelerate again. We've gone back to Eco because the strengths I think the ORA 07 GT definitely has in cruising, right, Stefan?
Yeah, that would be kind of like the typical cruiser, I think.
The only thing that always bothers me a bit when driving, and I'm always considering deactivating it, is the driver recognition through this camera in the A-pillar. I think Aura could fine-tune it a bit more, as it tends to be very, very sensitive, which can be a hassle. That means when I look at the side mirror for around 2 or 3 seconds or glance elsewhere or set something on the GPS, she starts complaining, saying I need to focus on the road because it's unsafe and dangerous even to glance away briefly. To educate me and ask me to be attentive, which on the one hand is kind of good so that we all stay alert and focused, but on the other hand, maybe the intensity and sensitivity could be fine-tuned just a little bit more to better balance the situation and ensure it doesn't become too overwhelming. We want to measure the interior noise with you at 50 km. 56, 57 decibels, we're going 70 kilometers per hour. 60, 61 decibels, these are top values. An ID3 hits that at 50 and we're accelerating to 100 km/h. "65, 67 decibels, that is also an absolutely top value. For example, a VW ID3 is already at mid 70 decibels. Yeah, that's precisely what I mean. Focusing on the ride itself, numerous signs with the double curve up ahead. You can of course interpret this all in a very positive light because he obviously supports you wholeheartedly and makes sure to be there for you in every possible way. Yeah. But he is also kind of very, very sensitive, especially when a curve comes, because he is constantly jingling and jangling. He's jerking the steering wheel noticeably. You can really feel that this autopilot, this smart drive, doesn't feel comfortable on the country road at all. Let's take our rather sharp turn here. Thankfully, there isn't any car coming. Yeah, he does it well, but everything feels too sensitive to me, Stefan, don't you think? It's as if every tiny adjustment is exaggerated, and that's tricky.
Yeah, sometimes it's this jerky movement that's odd and takes getting used to. More dangerous, I think so.
It's actually built more for the highway, especially for the Autobahn. We will of course try that out together with all of you once we are finally cruising along the famous and internationally renowned German Autobahn.
Yes, by 2 kilometers per hour.
Yes, because I'm cruising at 70. Everything's a bit strange. The traffic sign recognition though. Sometimes it works really well, like now. Other times it simply doesn't work at all.
Yeah, last time we had 30 long kilometers on the highway at 70 kilometers per hour, even though it was completely clear and open.
Yeah, so there is definitely a considerable and pressing need for improvement in various areas. I think it's really quite good, first of all, that this car indeed has every conceivable state-of-the-art modern system. So emergency evasion system, emergency brake assistant, and then of course there is also the lane keeping assistant. Of course we also have the steering assistant on board, which now slightly reduces speed in curves. I think it's better than if it were to accelerate through the curve at full speed. So from that perspective, the system is really on a very, very good path, but I think it still needs a bit of additional fine-tuning for our European, specifically German roads. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think fine-tuning is the most appropriate word that accurately describes it. Because they already have it. It's all there. Everything is available. It just needs to be properly set up.
Yeah, it feels like it works better than in a Tesla, right?
Yeah. At least it doesn't immediately throw you out of autopilot here.
Infinity sound system.
Pure sound. Good bass.
Definitely not the type who would stab you in the back. No. Really good. Truly excellent. And standard.
You don't need to buy Bose or anything since everything's perfectly fine.
Let's talk a bit about the ride comfort in the ORA Z07 GT. What do you think, Stefan? What's your trusty buttometer telling you?
Well, like I mentioned before, you really sit very comfortably here. The seats are absolutely great. I would definitely like a bit more thigh support, because it can also be a bit more performant in use when you race through the curves. Otherwise great. Nice comfortable suspension, comfortable.
Yes, I have to confirm that too. It is tautly and comfortably tuned in a European way on one hand, yes. But it also provides sufficient comfort features to prevent every individual bump and ripple from jolting directly into your spine and causing unnecessary discomfort. That probably also has to do with the fact that we have relatively comfortable and sporty seats here, which are very well padded and not firm at all, providing a delightful level of comfort. Overall, I think it's a nice cruiser, where you can probably, as we'll find out in the third video during the road trip, take a nice longer journey, right?
I think so too, yes.
Overall, we noticed a small drawback, the consumption display, which can sometimes be hard to interpret correctly. Normally, we're used to the classic way you have an onboard computer, reset it, and we would also like to show you the consumption accordingly. But it shows an average consumption of 25.4 kilowatt hours here. I assume that basically comes from a longer highway drive, because like the way we are cruising here now, he definitely won't have this consumption. But that also means conversely that on a consumption drive, we have to manually calculate the distance traveled from the battery capacity. I think we did that with the ORA Z03 as well, then had to calculate the consumption, and we didn't get perfectly accurate values. Dear ORA team, ORA is part of Great Wall Motors, and having a built-in computer would really be a very nice feature to include in your vehicles. It's something you can easily reset and further customize according to your specific needs and preferences. With all the amazing and wonderful stuff that you've created over the years, this honestly is just child's play, isn't it?
That should definitely be no problem for UFO Horror.
Let's get to the interim conclusion with the ORA Z07 GT. I have to say, I'm impressed. The look, in my opinion, either you like it or you simply don't.
Yes, right there.
As Faden said, when you're in the car, you can't see him outside. And when you're outside, you can't see it from the inside, right? So there's, I think, a considerable amount of potential room for interpretation. Starting price from 41,990 euros for a 4.87 meter sedan equipped with those features. I believe that's a very fair starting price. And anyone familiar with Grateful Motors and ORA also knows that they usually offer attractive cash purchase, leasing and financing conditions. That's why I can only recommend go to the ORA dealer of your choice. Drive the Z07 Pure Pro or GT. Take it for a test drive, check it out in person and get an impression firsthand. I think that for some people out there, it could be considered a very interesting electric car option when you look at the overall value for money through the available leasing conditions offered. Otherwise, you get a comfortable limousine that unfortunately doesn't have a hatchback opening, but is a sedan with a stepped trunk, which might limit the space in the luggage compartment and the loading possibilities a bit. Seats can be folded down in a 40-20-40 split as mentioned earlier. This is great for taking skis or a long item with you during the winter time. And otherwise, I firmly believe 4. People can travel really quite comfortably here in the spacious interior of the vehicle. Overall, we can only recommend that you take the car for a test drive, see it in person, and if you like it and if you find the price-performance ratio attractive, then go for it. And with that, we have now reached the very end of today's video featuring the ORA Z07 GT. You can see it quite clearly here from the beautiful silhouette. And I really hope you enjoyed the video. You rated it with a thumbs up. Please check again if you are part of the Einfall Elektrisch community. If not, we'd appreciate your subscription. That way you won't miss the second video with the consumption and charging tests. Thanks for watching, stay healthy and see you soon. Yours, Ollie, you, Stefan. So, how does ORA manage not to have a half fish fin? That's really good. Yes?
But let's face it, it would look pretty crappy too.
Yes, well if you want, you can also integrate this technique into the windows and the bodywork. It's doable.